Hello there, I'm Kafi Khan and welcome back to my Android tutorials. In the previous video, we talked about SQLite and we implemented that using Room Persistence Library. If you haven't watched the video, please watch it. In today's video, we'll be talking about list views and array adapters. So, what is a list view? List view is a view group which displays a list of scrollable items. These items are automatically populated in the list by adapters. There are three types of adapters: array adapter, base adapter, and cursor adapter. These all have the primary task of populating lists, but they have their own pros and cons. In today's video, we'll be talking about list views and array adapters. So array adapters are a subclass of base adapters. So let's get started. Let's create a new project. Let's call it array adapters. Let's hit the next button. Again, we're going to keep API 15 as a minimum SDK. Why? So that we can run our application on almost 100% of the devices running Android in the world. So let's hit the next button. Let's select an empty activity. Let's call our first activity as main activity and let's hit the finish button. The Android Studio is building our project, so let's wait. So the project's built and it's ready to go. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to make an activity with a list view and we'll have a string array and we'll pass the string array to adapters and the adapter will populate that string array in the form of list. So let's start with the UI first. Let's get rid of this constraint layout. Let's set the orientation vertical. And let's get rid of this text view. We need a list view here. Width match parent and height wrap content. Okay. Let's provide it with an ID. Let's call it ID list view. Okay, our UI is ready. So coming to the functionality part. So here we need the reference of our list view. So let's create an object of list view. Private list view. Let's call it list view. Let's initialize it. List view is equal to find view by ID, r.id and list view. So we've declared and initialized our list view object. Let's create a string array, and for that let's go to strings.xml. So project, resources, values and strings.xml. So let's create a string array. So string array, let's call it Android versions. Let's create an item. So let's say cupcake. Okay, let's create donut. Let's create eclairs. Froyo. Gingerbread. Honeycomb. Ice cream sandwich. Jelly bean. Kit Kat. Lollipop. Marshmallow. Nougat and Oreo. So we've got all the versions of Android here. So coming back to our Java file. So let's define an object of array adapter. So array adapter, let's call it adapter is equal to new array adapter and type is a string. So it requires 3 parameters: the current context, the layout to be inflated for each list item, and third, the list to be populated. So let's pass the context, this. Let's provide it with Android's already defined layout. So android.r.layout.simple list item 1. And let's provide the list here. So let's first create it here, or let's directly call it here. So get resources, get string array, r.array.android versions. So our adapter object is ready. So let's just set it in the list view. So ListView.set adapter. That's all. Let's run the application and see. So as you can see, the application is running and we can see our string array here in the form of list. So that's all for ListView with array adapters. If you have any doubts, any queries so far, feel free to drop a comment and we'll go through it. See you in the next video.